I don't want to make this video, but I feel compelled to. So this is going to be so badly done, and I apologize. Let me try to zoom it in. Maybe that would help. Okay. Wild Scott left 2 comments around, and so Noodle had something to say about it. Because she always does. I don't like doing this. So, I know, I won't look through the screen. You can find all of this because obviously this isn't filmed well. Okay. Yeet. What the hell is yeet? Sharing it so it can be seen after I yeet her off my channel because she's boss. Is she 14? Yeet. Are you kidding me? You're not bad. I mean, you're bad, but you're not a badass. Not an edgelord, nothing like that. Okay, I didn't write that on her comments. Oh, the horror. Like she tried to say the night that her brain was so riddled with substances. You can't do that. That is disgusting, Noodle. That is pure slander. You have no proof of that. She thought she was emailing. Yeah, you cannot do that. You don't belong here at all, period. You just don't. And I might elaborate on that because you stalked Mrs. P here and you're so afraid of her, even though you lived as neighbors and she hasn't changed one iota. Yeah, you stalked her here and you did your worst because you wanted to. You planned it. You schemed it. 2 months in bed. And now you're so afraid. So leave. You had no connection here. You were contacted, which was going real life on Mrs. P, by 2 people, one of whom you will not name to this day. Again, sneaky, receipt queen, fail. So, she tried to say, while she was on drugs, Wild Scott, that night, maybe I'll go back down to 1. Let's see if I can do that. It worked. That her brain was so riddled with substances that she thought she was emailing Mrs. P and emailed me, which she still denies after it was proven. She knew it, okay? After the fact. She has admitted it, many times in fact. It was a simple mistake. She had talked to some of us. I don't know whether it was on her channel or in email or on Discord. She showed us what she had, and she thought she was emailing Mrs. P. I didn't think that would go to Mrs. P. I thought that would go to Noodle Mash. It was very confusing. I will give her that. But she didn't take the advice of those who said, no, that's the wrong person. And so she emailed it, and it went to you. She thought she was emailing Mrs. P. Big deal. Big deal. She has admitted it. It was a nothing burger. Just like the time you said I commented on your channel, and you had some really goofy excuse about why that was. Somebody had made a compost, and I thought I was responding to that person's compost. But, of course, it linked right to your channel. I didn't check. I didn't take the link. And I wrote a comment to you, and you said that was me, doing something nefarious. No, it was a simple mistake. No big deal. So just, you come out flailing, saying people are on drugs without a shred of proof of that. Now, there's no love lost between Wild Scott and I, and for many reasons. Same goes for Marie. And Marie throwing me under the bus yesterday in your live. Who the hell are you? Shut up. Really, shut up. Stop. You're making a bigger mess, always, no matter where you interject yourself. Okay? Injection Marie. Wherever you go, messy Marie. Like you said, Mrs. Portland didn't say Noodle's name. Yes, she did. Yes, she most certainly did. I heard it. Now, I don't know if I heard everything, because, and it was really by accident that I was aware of most of what happened that time, because Mrs. P deletes very quickly, and I don't have a team of people behind the scenes. Hi, Iva. Hi, so there's that. Hi, so you're that stupid, or you think you're that stupid, or whatever. Yes, there are people, Amy, who, they're out there doing their worst. And they're all associated with Noodle Mash. And Mrs. P associates them all together for good reason. They're associated. Now, the reason I'm making this video, I'm cutting it off. Can you see the bottom of my screen? See those windows open? Yeah, that's an issue, right? That's a big issue. And because of that, there are things I want to see. It has nothing to do with Chroma. Almost, yeah, probably nothing other than the ones you're going to see have to do with Chroma. They have to do with what I do on a computer and things I'm interested in. Okay, like, for example, that stuff. So, yeah, I'm a very curious person. There's things I want to know. So, Marie, you said some things that were true in your life, from what I could understand. And you said some things that weren't true at all. And you have to be careful, and you're not careful. You're flitty, you're just zooming around. The things you say that that you don't like. Well, for instance, Mrs. P isn't the problem to Noodle Mash. I am. That's because that's your agenda, okay? You have an agenda always. And you came here because of Country Joe. You followed her here. You're not really part of here. You don't know what's going on 90% of the time, and you don't get it all right. And that is a dangerous thing. I don't know if Mrs. P is allowed to say Shannon's name or her channel name, or I don't know. Because when we're shown what can and cannot happen, it changes a lot. Even the name of the order. Is it a PPO? Is it an RO? How many people does it cover? Does it cover people in her family that Mrs. P doesn't even know exist? All of that. I don't know. But, Marie went behind the scenes. I don't do that. Begging, okay? Dirty begging to First Noodle and then to people on Noodle's channel for my address so that she could report me to my police for making a file. Marie, do you know that Noodle Mash has claimed repeatedly in 3.5 years that she has like boxes worth or files, like 4,000 of them? You wouldn't believe what she has on me, okay? And then there's the background check that she'll say she didn't do, but one of her associates did. The associates that Mrs. P is well aware of because they make content. So, Noodle Mash said, sorry, I'm going to be jumping all over the place because I'm uncomfortable. I don't like, I'm holding a phone. To me, that's a terror. Okay. Noodle Mash said, what the fuck are you talking about? You have me blocked. There she goes. She's just so battle axe. You have me blocked on Tik Tok, dumbass. The insults. She's so nasty. That's why she came after me right from the get-go and stalked me around. I wasn't commenting after the first day or two, maybe, on her channel. And she already had, what was her name? Cindy from Indiana, who was under the account name of Allegedly then. Some people can put into the comments what other name she had. Again, I'm really nervous. So I'm not thinking particularly clearly. Okay. So you can't even see their account exists. So Debbie is a dumbass. Sorry, Wild Scott. And Honey, shut up with your honey and your sweet. Ooh, you're so distasteful. There's a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. You clearly haven't read it. If I'm going to copy, Noodle Mash, you copy everybody, okay? She didn't lie about being a mental health nurse. She was a mental health nurse. Clearly, she showed it. It's there. And doesn't contribute, and contributes nothing good to society, she said. She has a job. What are you talking about? She owns a home. What are you contributing? Really? It's just disgusting. And then accusing her of being on substances. Okay. I'm gonna, let's see. Is there anything down here I need to see? No. Okay, I'm gonna knock that out. Bear with me. I'm so uncomfortable. So, while Scott responds very well, too, I might add. And I don't like her at all. She's untrustworthy beyond, and not really, she's fake. Okay. We are back to smearing my character with false accusations. That's all she's done to me, and just about anybody who even asks her a question. How dare you? You're blocked. Echo chamber time. Okay, when I'm pissed off at something and I said, just stop watching my content, copying. Yes, she does that. Oh, that's all she does. She's still copying Natasha. She studied Natasha because she saw cha-ching in her 2 months in bed, stalking Mrs. P, and creating a false narrative that they were friends. Very convoluted, very twisted. They weren't friends when she came here. She pretended she was, just to have Mrs. P lower her guard, I should say, because they weren't friends. And Noodle Mash has been obsessed with Mrs. P for 12 years. Not since high school. High school doesn't matter anyway. Just since they met the first day in the manager's office when Mrs. P lied and said, you were the only one who didn't bully me in high school. She didn't even know who Noodle Mash was because she ran home, got out her yearbook and looked her up. She couldn't remember her. Must be because she looks so different. Yeah, she looks so different. Anyway, in 2 days, Noodle Mash was doing her Noodle Mash thing, just like what she just wrote to Debbie, and was after Mrs. P. That's when the obsession started. I saw the screenshot. It's gone now from her channel. I didn't copy it. I saw it. Okay, so just stop watching my content, blah, blah, blah. The days of having me defend myself is gone. Well, I'm defending you because it's the right thing to do. Your narcissistic and vindictive behavior has no effect on me. Well, I hope that's true, but you nailed it. Narcissistic and vindictive. And I should say retribution is a key element. She wants to get Mrs. P. She thinks she has an authority to punish Mrs. P because of things Mrs. P does. Leave people alone and find your own style and content. She has none. Okay? Unless you count gluing 10 plastic rhinestones on a piece of plastic with glue dripping, not even in a line, putting it up on a compost and expecting people to donate because poor Noodle, look, she's so artistic. Yeah, she has no style or content. She came here to use and abuse Mrs. P, to reveal, as she just did in her very last video, private things about Mrs. P, because they happen to be neighbors. And Mrs. P thus knows things about Noodle Mash too, but she's not allowed to say them, is she? No, only Noodle Mash is allowed because she's above Mrs. P in her mind. Leave people alone, find your own style and content. I know it's difficult. No, it's not, Debbie. It's impossible. And con artists like yourself, brilliant, need to mimic and copy everyone else around them. Yeah. I believe you're still watching me. Of course she is. Of course she is still watching her. She has a team of people. Remember, she put up a compost the other day saying, my phone blew up. And therefore, instead of emailing people back, okay, or messaging them, or however people do it on phones, she put up a compost. And why did she do that? Because that poked Mrs. P. I don't want to read Marie's comment. Marie, back off. Do it. I mean it. Back off of everybody. You're not helping Mrs. P, and you're certainly a thorn in my side because you're loopy. Okay. Then Debbie answered whatever. I didn't even read what Marie wrote. She's back to her usual. She must be in desperate need of money. Yep, she did start a new rumor about Debbie that she uses substances, which is disgusting. Another false and malicious allegation she's made up on the spot. Yes, she did. Because I triggered her by calling her a copycat. She is a copycat. She has never made an original piece of art. She copies other YouTube creators. She's a dirty, big, rotten liar. Yes, she is. What was I going to say? She's not in desperate need of money. She is simply greedy. She got a lot of money the other day about Mrs. P. And you know what that does? That makes her want, and she will, make more content, about Mrs. P. Because that brings her money. One person even gave her money because of me. Because I'm calling out the truth. And she answers Kelly. I don't know why Kelly's there. I really don't understand it. She has such a thin skin, she doesn't belong in a drama community. Everyone's either being defamed, intimidated, blackmailed, or reported to every authority and place of employment she can find. Barking mad she is, all to keep her and her husband in receipt of luxuries they don't deserve. Boy, is that ever the truth. You know? Truth bomb. Put a giant bomb there. They do not deserve anything they've received because it was all on the back of Mrs. P. Had she not known Mrs. P, for example, and she just randomly found this community, okay? Do you think anyone would pay her any mind? She came here trying to make the community her own. This is a trauma community. We've all known each other, well, most of us, a very long time. Marie, a new interloper. I've been here for, 7? I don't know, a long time. I think it's 7 years. So, yeah, she came here. She wanted to make this into a woke, sorry, Debbie, a woke, special snowflake. I'm disabled and I'm an advocate. Bullshit. Has nothing to do with this community. And she brought an element of litigiousness that has permeated the entire community. And then, the abuse level, her abuse level is so extreme. My hand is in this. Am I too high or too low? I don't know. Anyway, she has no business here. This was not about coming here because Mrs. P is here, a vastly disabled person, and not look-shaming her, but shaming her in every other way possible. Giving out private information. I don't know if you listened, Wild Scott. Sorry, I keep switching names. It's not intentional. And by the way, Noodle, I put out the receipt of your file, okay, to show without any redaction. You know, you're the queen of redaction. That's what you are, not of receipts. And mostly you redact your hoard. But I put it out in its entirety to show it, okay, to be open-handed. On it was my name. If you use my name, first, last, husbands, have your little flying monkeys put out. Yeah, you did recently. What was it, 3 weeks ago? My sister's name. And you've had flying monkeys put out other relatives, 2, in fact, of me. You've also put out my maiden name, first initial. And yes, I certainly did put out your maiden name. Screw you. You grifted off of your mother. Her account is linked to your Facebook. Do better. Sloppy. That's your maiden name. I know this because you told us that your mother was not married to her second husband. I wonder why he didn't leave her anything, by the way, why she was so destitute. I wonder why you used her to get a 3-bedroom apartment, in fact. And you did. Okay. That the taxpayers pay for. What do you pay? Half of the rent? Anyway. So, where was I? I'm going off on tangent after tangent. Yeah, had Noodle Mash not known Mrs. P, and had there not been a plethora of idiots here who don't care about, excuse me, disabilities, which Mrs. P has, okay? Yeah, she's unpleasant. Oh, she's a corker. And, you know, you don't understand her. I really do think I understand her better than everybody. I'm fond of her at this point, and I feel for her, very much so. No, I don't love her. But I feel for her, and I am fond of her. And she can really make me smile. But mostly by her abilities beyond, despite, or in spite of her disabilities. She tries very hard, you know, and I admire that. So Noodle Mash without Mrs. P would not, and studying and scheming and copying Natasha would have nothing here. People would have laughed her off long ago. Noodle Mash doesn't even come on screen anymore. She did the other day, and she said it was because she hadn't seen you all in a while, you know, her people. Oh, I'm getting a Charlie horse in my thigh. I'm so nervous. I'll tell you what, I'll end this, get rid of my Charlie horse, and I'll come back on and pick up where I left off. Okay? I'll try to anyway. All right. Bye.